Hey friends, welcome back to 3D Cartoon Review. Tonight we step onto the ice where blizzards hold their breath and giants listen. This is Swallowed Star EP202, a silver gaze that stops time, a bargain struck beneath a killing sky, and a choice that refuses to choose only one path. Sit close. The wind has sharp teeth. Ice Prison spoke first with sound iron booming in the distance, the echo of a failed pursuit skidding across glaciers, like sparks across steel. Lei Wang had burned his god body to ash-thin brightness and still could not catch Luo Feng. Relief came fragile and brief, the kind that melts at a glance. Then the glance arrived. An oppressive will descended, squeezing the cold into knives. The blizzard sagged under it. Alien overlords who had learned to laugh at death tucked themselves beneath layers of ice like animals hearing the old hunter's step. Above the glacier stood a figure with a silver-white gaze and patience carved into the line of his mouth. Yinmou, the hiders whispered, as if naming a god badly. The Silver Eye, one of Ice Prison's 5 giants. His attention made distance useless. He looked down on Luo Feng as one looks at a small thing that has accidentally become interesting. Human, he said, voice soft as falling snow. Hand over your anonymous account sensor for the virtual universe. Do that, and perhaps you live. Danger sang in Luo Feng's bones, a pitch too vast to fight and too close to flee. Yet behind the fear something older opened its eyes. If I say I don't have it, he asked, will you let me go? Silver Eye's patience ended where appetite began. I'll take your life and search your memories. His palm lifted, space congealed, a snow-white giant hand fell. Not fast inevitability never hurries, closing the world around Luo Feng like a fist. Luo Feng's roar tore his chest raw. The beast god phantom surged up behind him, tail lashing with savage law. The two forces met, an unmade weather. Claw and tail collided, shockwaves ripped the storm into ribbons, frost exploded into chandeliers of light. For a breath, the world forgot gravity. The giant hand splintered. The phantom shattered. Silence cracked with astonishment. A fractional tilt touched Silver Eye's brow. You withstood one palm. Not bad. His fingertip moved almost imperceptibly. There was no flash, no line, only absence, a gravity where sound and motion drowned. Time stop blossomed, a stillness that clamped Luo Feng midair like iron poured into a mold. Through that crystal trap drifted a killing finger, beautiful and slow its core, a needle for souls. It did not hurry because it had never needed to. Inside the breath between breaths, Luo Feng's will roared. Break, break, break. 3 treasures answered together like distant bells agreeing. The Shi Wu Wings spread and turned the snowfield purple with storm. The spirit diagram opened like a starry sea, geometry humming. The Tower Bead told once, the sound deep enough to wrinkle memory. Time shackles shattered just shy of skin. The killing finger struck, the purple wings caught it and cracked. Luo Feng flew backward like a meteor shoved by an invisible god. He steadied in the gale, alive, and Ice Prison, whoever was left to feel, gasped that a human had broken death's one finger. Silver Eye's curiosity hardened into certainty. Enough play. A seam opened in his brow, a silver-white eye without pupil stared. All across his skin, smaller eyes bloomed, dozens, hundreds, no lids, no blinking, just gaze. Invisible god force slid where metal and mind could not bar it, through armor, through will, through the narrowest rooms of the soul. Luo Feng's world tilted, then slid. He was dragged into reincarnation illusion, an eternity stacked on itself like tombstones without names. Cities eroded to dunes, dunes to grass, grass to ash, friends rising and vanishing like breath on glass. Hope wearing down to a pebble, the pebble to powder, and still the era's page turned. 10,000 winters learned his name and tried to make it mean nothing. But the heart trained under the life and death inheritance remembered its core, the one place inside a man that refuses to vote against him. Luo Feng stood in the dust of a million mistakes and shook illusion from his shoulders like snow. Silver Eye blinked surprise, the tiniest wrinkle. How long did you last in the Endless Samsara? Luo Feng's answer fell like weather. Nearly 10,000 eras, or it felt so. Respect shifted the battlefield's light. Silver Eye inclined his head a fraction. A promise is a promise, I won't take your life. He turned, message finished, the way mountains end conversations. But some words want a reply. "If you delivered 3 moves," Luo Feng called, breath steady, "accept one of mine for fairness." It was not bravado, it was the spine insisting on balance. He triggered the purple bell, resonance left by King Jihong when Jihong burned his god body, a tone that made distance forget itself. 8 mind stones, steeped in Fei-Mo poison, slid into that tolling space and vanished. They arrived inside Silver Eye's defenses like thoughts he did not consent to think. His body burst a hiss of light, a reforming shape, and in that blink he tasted poison and audacity, weighed annoyance against amusement, and found himself measuring a human he had meant to dismiss. By the time his expression settled, Luo Feng was gone, a neat message floating where he had been. Trade. Exchange a heavy treasure for an anonymous censor. Name the place. Silver Eye's lips thinned irritation, calculation, reluctant interest, then smoothed. No one who lives this long refuses a puzzle that promises company. 3 days later, a metal puppet arrived at the appointed glacier, voice carried by Luo Feng's will. Silver Eye negotiated as glaciers negotiate. He started with the mountain and only then offered stones. 1 heavy treasure became 1 in a condition, then 2 conditions and no treasure, then mercy disguised as math. The puppet replied with the patience of a book that knows your eyes will come back. He lost ground, then territory, finally terms. In the end, Silver Eye surrendered a cyan Warhammer weight singing in the God Force, the grain of a true heavy treasure for a palm-sized censer that shimmered like frost. He touched login, tasted the boundless virtual universe, and fell into games as if they could drown loneliness that had learned too many languages. Luo Feng sealed the Warhammer with a care that looked like love. Satisfaction warmed him, but not enough to sleep. He entered the virtual universe himself, closed doors of light around him, and began shaping a secret technique out of starlight and breath, cutting old lessons into new tools. A shadow formed in the simulation robes like dusk, eyes like old law. The Chaos City Lord arrived without weight and with all the gravity in the world. "You are of the Heiyu line," he said. "Remember, a spiritual force path pursuing Beast God can never reach the apex." Crossroads drew chalk lines in the mind. Luo Feng thought of the spirit tower's quiet hunger, the sitting mountain guest's patient instruction, the weight and wonder of 2 incompatible skies. Every answer he could give refused to make the other answer false. Resolve took a knife to the knot. He bowed. Disciple will cultivate both the warrior line and the spiritualist line. The Chaos City Lord sighed a sound like a door opening to winter, and in that sigh was a vow. "Then I will help as far as help can go." Time washed Ice Prison with patient blue. Reputation carried Luo Feng's name along crack and canyon. Overlords who had learned to fear nothing added a new superstition to their winter. Far south, in a palace of fangs and frost, another giant pricked his ears and smiled where no one could see. Tian Lang, the Sky Wolf overlord of the monster clan, received the tales, updated the ice stale ranking with a claw tip, and placed Luo Feng at 6th, adding a promise meant to become law. "Whoever brings that human to me, I protect forever." Promises travel faster than weather. Soon a metal lifeform called Jinshu Tatuo sniffed human spore where humans don't walk and hurried to share its discovery. Luo Feng answered with a warning written in gold. The golden beast phantom thundered forth and bit the courage out of metal. Fear finished, parley began. The invitation reached Luo Feng like a knife tucked into silk. "Come." He agreed to meet Tian Lang. The palace was all edges, pillars carved like howls, a floor polished with old threats. The Sky Wolf showed his true body, vast, star-furred, eyes like twin winter moons, and wasted no ceremony. "I want an anonymous censor to contact my clan and escape Ice Prison," he said, "1 heavy treasure in exchange." "No," Luo Feng replied, voice flat, spine straight, hackles lifted like drawn blades. "2 heavy treasures," Tian Lang growled, then bared teeth. "Or die where you stand." Luo Feng smiled without warmth. "You can't kill me. The rules here and my cards say otherwise. We both know this." Cornered between pride and math, Tian Lang prowled in a small circle of fury, then stilled. A token glinted in his paw, older than grudges, heavy with the weight that makes kings kneel, the Beast God Inheritance Order of the Ancestor God Sect, first power in the cosmos. Silence tilted. Value has its own gravity. Luo Feng recognized treasure enough to birth empires or burn them. Agreed, he said, each syllable a coin laid down where both could see it. Plots breed in pairs. Tian Lang demanded to verify the censor honest on the face, dishonest in the hand so that his maid could slip a coded SOS through the virtual universe, a plea disguised as a public bounty. To strangers, it was noise. To the monster race, it was a war horn. Luo Feng saw the angle before the hand rose, counted the teeth on the trap, and let it bite where he had wrapped iron. He granted limited permissions, hemming the access like a tailor hemming a dangerous skirt. The maid's fingers danced, the message flew. A reply arrived, acknowledged fast as fear running downhill. With rescue likely inbound, Tian Lang's patience thinned to a wire. He tried to renege, snow in his voice, claws in his smile. Luo Feng let winter bend to steel. Renegade and I cut the censor's access now, he said, hand already moving. Leverage makes palaces listen, even wolves look where the floor ends. The sky wolf snarled, pride bleeding from the mouth. Then he flung the beast god inheritance order, cold, heavy, older than politics, and the bargain closed, because survival wanted a future, more than pride wanted a moment. Luo Feng left the palace with the token like a second heart. Outside, the wind wrote temporary lessons in snow that no one reads twice. Inside, Tian Lang paced, counting the heartbeats until rescue tore the sky. Luo Feng reported to the Chaos City Lord, respect around his words like a sheath around a blade. The Lord weighed likelihoods with fingers scarred by eras. Monster race will send great powers, he said quietly, perhaps a universe master. Prepare contingencies. If the sky breaks, you run. If our aid arrives, you hold. Either way, live to make choice again. In the hush of the virtual universe, Luo Feng bowed until thought looked like prayer. Then he vanished into training halls of light, where breath came measured and choices came in pairs, the warrior's edge and the spiritual sea, the beast that bites and the mind that binds. Outside, Ice Prison ticked like a bomb behind glass. Silver Eye played games to forget the miles between stars and thought about a human who had sold him company. Tian Lang sharpened his patience and his promises, pacing the length of a cage that pretended to be a throne. Across the blizzard, names kept learning Luo Feng in the slow language of fear and respect. Somewhere beyond the white horizon, a courier of fate turned his face toward Ice Prison. Somewhere within the white, a human measured time with will, and a master counted futures like beads, each one heavy, each one bright enough to burn. The war for one censor had ended with a trade no one wanted to admit liking. The war for one destiny stretched, cat-like, under the table where emperors eat. When the next foot stepped down, it would wake more than wolves. Until then, a cyan Warhammer slept in Luo Feng's ring, an inheritance order warmed his palm, and two roads walked side by side inside his chest. Thanks for watching 3D Cartoon Review. If this chapter pulled you in the silver gaze, the time that wouldn't move, the bargain under frost, tap like, subscribe, and ring the bell so the next step finds you first. Tell me below, would you have traded with Silver Eye, bargained with Skywolf, or walked away from both? Your take might shape the next journey.